we have our next candidate that we're going to get ready to introduce to you that we're also pretty excited about. So, Justice McFarlane. Justice McFarlane is a candidate for House District 100, and he is running against Democratic incumbent Venton Jones. So, Justice, can you tell us a little bit about who you are and why you are running for office?
Okay. So first things first, I think that including United States Congress and also Texas House and Senate, there's no representation for young people at all. Like my generation, Gen Z, has absolutely no representation within both systems. And the fact is, we're almost 30 now. People in my generation are almost 30 years old, and yet and still they have no political power. We're the ones staying at home on our parents' dime. We're the ones dealing with all these economic consequences of the older generation. And I came here, I'm decided to run because I realize that the older generations are forgetting about us. They are truly forgetting about Gen Z in the conversation. And not only that, not only are they disconnected from young people, but they're also, I think that a lot of politicians are disconnected from, including the person I'm running against, are disconnected from the people that they serve. Like, for instance, we have all these issues going on, of course, but nobody wants to focus on something very simple and basic, such as public road infrastructure. Why do we have potholes all across the city? Why do we have potholes all across Texas? Texas can be made up into pretty much two different categories. You have rural roads, and then you have, city roads, industrial roads, and things like that. And the industrial roads are failing and collapsing because they haven't been updated in years. And the rural roads are also not very good for the growing population of Texas. So there's a lot of different problems that are just facing, my state. I mean, well, my district and in alliance with the state in general. So that's kind of what I wanted to point out. And I think a lot of it has to do with the fact that there's no young representation. That's pretty much it. Mhm.
Okay. Well, thank you for that. You know what? I'm doing the best I can for your generation, I have to just say. Gen X mom here. I want the best future for all you Gen Xers.
Yes.
And that's honestly, that is the only reason why I'm even doing this thing right now is because
Mhm.
I have to take care of my peeps, my kids, and they're all, Gen Z kids. So I'm counting on you Gen Zers. I really am. You guys can count on me and I'm going to count on you. So thank you so much for that. So can you tell me what are your top three priorities while you're running for your district?
So public infrastructure is my first, housing is my second, and education is my third. These are the most important issues to my district and therefore to me as well. So yes. So I elaborated a little bit on public infrastructure. Housing is the next thing I'll elaborate on. Well, with housing, a lot of we're experiencing an increase in housing prices, as Mr. Braxton has already said. It's also happening in my area as well, to where housing is becoming a lot more unaffordable. And a lot of this problem actually is due to the way that we organize our economy. So if you've ever noticed, Texas has this very specific problem, and it's going to continue to grow unless we change it. It's not that specific. It also happens in California, to where basically corporations come in and they just do what they want. They come in, they do this, do that. They ignore our zoning laws. In fact, they push our zoning laws away, or we don't create the zoning laws
Wow.
that enable them to kind of,
Yeah.
to regulate. So it at the end of the day, what it causes is inflation, massive inflation, because you had all these people trying to make a bang for your buck. And this is what now you have no homes that people can actually afford. And honestly, the prime example, I hope y'all are paying attention, Mr. Molly and Mr. Sora. It is going to be Houston. Houston is one of the worst cities we have here in the state. And it is because of, it's the fact that it's disorganized. You can see all the companies coming in and not properly, there's no zoning regulation. It's just a mess. So therefore, that's pretty much why housing is another issue of mine. And that's pretty much it. Also, education. Education is my last and biggest issue. So to keep it short and simple, a lot of our schools suck. They're just not very good. They don't have enough funding. And additionally, we don't have enough teachers to properly run these schools. So one of the things that I would introduce into the legislative branch is to make programs for teachers and doctors to properly, basically, like if you are pledging to be teacher or a doctor, you get free education sponsored by the state. What this would do is we would get massive influx in teachers and doctors for all these different people that don't necessarily know exactly how they want to, form their lives, so they can promise to be a teacher or a doctor and go through the state program for free as long as they become what they've said and what they've promised on the state dime. So this would be pretty good for trying to combat the teacher shortages and things like that. And additionally, I'd also have an increase in teacher salary, of course. So that's all pretty much the basics for everything. Those are my three policies that I really want to push, and that's it. Thank you.
Yes. So, Justice, where can we find you and how best can we support you right now while you're running for office?
So I have a website, justiceforthe100.com. Is very simple. You just that's the best thing you can use. You can find my social medias on there. You can find everything you need. And you can contribute if you like. But justiceforthe100.com is what you have to do. And 100 is spelled 100. You're not spelling it out completely. It's the numerical version. So yes, thank you. That's pretty much it.
Okay, well, thank you so much. And I look forward to meeting you on the campaign trail. I'm wishing you
Thank
all
you.
the best on your campaign. And thank you so much for coming to our webinar today.